All right, I'm going to come out and say it right away. This video is a little bit of a stretch, but needless to say, there is some evidence of what we are going to talk about. And if you could read the title in the thumbnail, that would be that 9/11 may be in Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Now, in this video, what we're going to do is discuss the evidence behind that and why people are talking about this and why that actually might be the case. But on top of that, we're also going to talk a little bit more about the setting of Call of Duty Black Ops 6 and a little bit of information that I found regarding the Gulf War and some details and dates that have been found on the website, giving us more of an idea of when and where things will actually be happening in Call of Duty Black Ops 6, somehow including 9/11. So I guess let's start with that one. Now again, this is not what I expected to be making this video on today, but here we are. So this is the Black Ops 6 website. We have the latest news, which is of course the official comms are now activated for Black Ops 6. And then we have these redacted ones. We don't know when these are coming out, and when they do, of course, I will let you know what's going on with that. However, when we go to the actual kind of website here and we look at this image a little bit closer, I actually have it in Photoshop ready to go here. We can zoom in. And lo and behold, we have a year. It is right here. And that year is 2001. And it looks like /11. And from this, people are gathering the fact that 2001, September 11th. Now, there are many other things that actually support this as well, including the fact that a lot of the teasers have actually taken place in New York. Whether you are discussing the newspapers that were released yesterday, or even deeper, some of the vandalism that we saw on the Truth Lies website, including the posters being posted, all took place within New York. On top of that, posters were posted around New York as well in real life, hence the idea of 2001, New York, 9/11. So that is where this is coming from. Now, how ridiculous is this? Well, let's put it this way. Call of Duty is no stranger to creating controversy. We really first started to see this in Modern Warfare 2, the original one with the No Russian mission within Zakhaev International Airport. We all know what went down during that mission, where you play as the terrorists themselves, as Vladimir Makarov and his goons, and you carry out that attack. Now, this is something that we have also seen many, many times throughout the Black Ops franchise. The Black Ops franchise is kind of different than the Modern Warfare franchise because the Modern Warfare franchise is pretty much just all in a fictional universe. However, the Black Ops franchise is based in our reality. We see things like the Bay of Pigs invasion, the Panama invasion, the Vietnam War, and even World War II. All of which have several controversies in them of themselves. And in fact, one of the biggest ones that we saw is at the end of Call of Duty Black Ops 1. At the end of Call of Duty Black Ops 1, it is heavily implied that the JFK assassination was brought out by none other than Alex Mason. We saw a little cutscene throughout the campaign of Black Ops 1 that was Alex Mason kind of losing his mind inside the Pentagon, which we are going to come back to. But on top of that, at the very end, we get a little cutscene where we see Alex Mason in the JFK assassination, like on the date that it actually happened, once again implying that he did it. So in other words, Call of Duty isn't scared of this kind of controversy, but one, 9/11, a lot more recent, and number two, I do not see them putting together a mission where you are like flying the airplane or something crazy like that. However, if we have a look at a couple more of the dates, this might actually answer what is going on here. So if we go back to this website, there's a couple of things that you can see. First of all, right underneath me here, we can see seemingly December 2nd, 91. Now, I looked up December 2nd, 91. Nothing really happened on that day. But the 91 number is a number that keeps coming up on the website over and over and over again. And in fact, if we go back to Photoshop here and have a look at a different image, this is kind of the banner image here, where we see the title for Black Ops 6, we can see Gulf and once again, 91. Again, beside 91, we do see once again 11, so that is there as well, but 91. So why is 91 important? Well, to start things off, on February 28th, 1991 is when the Gulf War actually ends. So in Call of Duty Black Ops 6, this could be kind of what the story is leading up to, the Gulf War ending. On top of that, some other important things are on February 26th was the Highway of Death. Now, if you don't know, this happened in Kuwait, and basically it was a big bombing that happened here, killing hundreds. And we've also kind of seen this as well in Modern Warfare 2019. A similar thing to this, but of course taking place in that fictional universe, not based out of reality like the Highway of Death might in a Black Ops 6 mission. So seeing the year 2001 lends me to the question of whether or not this Black Ops campaign is going to do something similar to Black Ops 2, where we have two kind of different separate timelines. One that takes place in the 90s, early 90s, leading up to the end of the Gulf War, and then another one that takes place in the year 2001 all the way up until 2003, that may be the story of 1, 9/11, and 2, how America gets back into the Gulf and moves in on Iraq and things along those lines. It could be a very interesting way of telling this kind of story, especially because in this era, the early 90s, early 2000s, there's not a lot of video games that kind of focus on this era of war. There's tons in World War II, there's tons of modern combat, there's tons of futuristic combat, but this Gulf War, 90s, early 2000 era, there's really not much there. Now, this brings us back to 9/11. How could they actually do this and remain kind of sensible about it? Again, I don't think we're going to be flying the plane or anything like that. Another thing that you have to remember is that the towers weren't the only thing that happened on that day. The Pentagon was also hit. The Pentagon is also an area that we have already seen within Black Ops games, so there could be something along the lines of that. I could also see them doing something where they kind of focus not so much on the attack itself, but what happened to America after this. Something along the lines of having you be on a mission where you are in the towers. You are someone who is inside. The plane hits the towers, you are forced to escape. And then we kind of see this kind of aspect of how this changed America after and how it led to the war after that. Potentially, one thing that Black Ops likes doing is showing presidents. We saw JFK, we saw Ronald Reagan. We have seen all of these, and maybe this one is going to be heavily focused on the Bushes, because we have George Bush Sr. at the beginning of the Gulf War, and then we have George Bush Jr. leading into the second war in the Gulf, which takes place starting kind of in 2003 after 9/11 actually happened. And this could be a really interesting way of looking at history, how Black Ops missions had to do with that, and how 9/11 affected the world as a whole. Now, I'm just going to say this right away. If they have the balls to do this, this would be an insane thing. I don't think this has ever been done in video games, and very rarely has it been done in movies if it's not a documentary. So this would be a ballsy move, especially for a AAA title, because remember, Activision and Microsoft are backing this title. For them to take that kind of risk, and if they do, will take that type of scrutiny. Yes, the game will sell more because of it, but that's a lot of scrutiny to be under. News will be all over it, and yeah, it'll help the sales of the game, but would they really be willing to do that? That is the question. And honestly, I don't have an answer for you. I do not know if this will actually happen, but there is some evidence to support it. And like I said, Call of Duty hasn't been afraid of controversy in the past. So at this point, I want to hear what you guys think. Do you think this is actually going to happen, or is this just no way, they're not touching this? Let me know what you think down in the comments. As we get more information on Black Ops 6 or anything teasers wise, I will keep you guys up to date. Make sure you're subscribed, have notifications on. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit that like button. As always, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace.
We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard.